Hey, check up. Let's play some D. Welcome to episode 49 of Play Some D, your weekly installment of wonderfulness. No, your weekly installment of 4 topics curated by none other than your host, Coach D. That's me. And it's a variety of stuff. This week kind of holds true to the variety. Actually, maybe not. I mean, this is kind of the stuff that's in the news this week. Obviously, I didn't really want to talk about the Twitter. I didn't want to talk about the Elon Musk situation, really, but I'll kind of just jumble it all together with Elon and Twitter, but mostly it's Twitter. I think we'll talk about the mask, the judge who overruled toss out the mask mandate with the law and things of that nature. I'm gonna touch on that in a couple different angles, directions. Boxing has made its way to Play Some D. 49 episodes in, and we're gonna talk some boxing today. And I'm gonna do a NFL mock draft first round simulator just for fun. So yeah, it's. I guess it's not totally variety. Usually I mix it up and it's all different. I have been quite sports heavy lately. As always, I mean, I think I'm always in a sports topic. I mean, this is what Play Some D was founded on: sports music. I always thought it would be sports music and movies, TV. Mostly is what I thought I would be doing. Sports music, yeah, TV, movies, but it's evolved and I've done way more stuff than I even thought, and I totally enjoy it. I hope everybody else does too. But as always, if you don't mind, please hit that like button. If you don't mind, that sub button. If you don't mind, that notification button. And comments are always welcome. We love comments here at Play Some D. And everybody, comments is the best thing about the internet. That's always will say that. But I'm gonna get this thing rolling. I'm not gonna waste any time here, and we're going to jump in the first quarter. We're gonna tip it off, and I'm gonna start it with Catherine Kimball Mazzelli. I hope that's how her name is spelled. If it isn't, I apologize. She tossed out the federal government's transportation mask mandate on Monday. And it's all based on the interpretation of sanitation. And the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about was that if more pandemics come and things of that nature, it'll really probably not allow the government to do anything in terms of a mass, particularly masking. From my understanding, you just won't be able to set a precedent for like transportation like this again, which would be kind of strange. But in the unfortunate nature of it all is that if people don't want to, I mean, I kind of always talked about the mask as like, I bet this is how like underwear was when people were required to start wearing underwear, like to cover your like wear clothes and underwear and stuff like that. Like, we need you to put clothes on. And I guess I just know it was backlash. I just know it. And it's for the good, multiple different reasons why you want to put some clothes on to cover up, certain stuff. So, and just your skin, you want to protect it, and kind of the same with masks, that you want to protect yourself from getting anything, and especially when you're in whatever. But to mandate it is always a whole different thing. But I do just think it's time, however you figure out how to tell however you want to tell somebody or or whoever wins. I'm sure some judges and people have been trying to figure out who gets to make the call on lifting or throwing out the mask mandate, and Catherine's able to get to it. So she's like the hero. She's the champion for this, and I'm sure a lot of people have been doing that. So I'm sure that was the issue, because eventually the mask mandate was going away. I think it was maybe 2 weeks away now or something like that for public transportation in general. So, and I guess airplanes was the biggest issue, because it is a bit annoying. I can't even lie. But I just think that it probably went too long, I think at some point, kind of what I was alluding to just a few minutes ago, is that we kind of all, even if they were to throw it out and you could never do it again or whatever the case may be, I think people who want to protect themselves can. People that want to put a mask on and make sure they're safe, and I think they will. And I think this will go down in history, and there'll be pictures, and history books will be written about masks and how this pandemic was. And I think it'll carry on. And I think people growing up and years and years and years from now, depending on what happens with air quality and disease and things of that nature, people will always put on a mask if they deem it necessary. And I think that's totally fine. I've heard people who don't want to, people want to expose themselves to the elements, pollution, or wherever you went, or some people paint cars without masks. Some people do all kind of stuff when they should have masks on and don't. And I think people that are in like coal mines, they probably should have some kind of filtration system. I see people, you see construction workers all the time. I rode past a guy that he had a mask on, everybody else didn't. He was literally just protecting himself from, the dust and stuff. That's what he was doing. So, her, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure everybody been chomping at the bit to get after this and be the first person to champion, to say, I got the mask mandate thrown out for people on planes, trains, buses, or whatever the case may be. And the airlines have been clamoring for it for a while, because it looks like when you get up in the air, the filtration system is really, really good. But when you're sitting on the ground or when you're in the airport and things of that nature, not so good, especially when there's tons and tons of people. So that's my take, is that I think it's time. And if people want to, you're not requiring people to be maskless. People can still wear their mask, and there are people that will still wear it. And if the people that get sick, that's just, we kind of just, at some point you had to move on. And I think people holding on to masking and vaccination and all that stuff, I think we just need to, you can touch on it. I always say, report it, tell the statistics, tell what's going on, and just move past, to just get sides, because everybody's is such on a polarized political side to it now, is that you're going to say, you're rarely hearing people just saying something neutral that, in my opinion, makes sense. It's like, we don't need to be OD with nobody should ever put the vaccine in them, and everybody should have a vaccine, and everybody should wear a mask, or everybody shouldn't have one a mask. Like, it just shouldn't be so just, on those sides. It should be a little more in the middle, but we're just running farther and farther from that. So the CDC authority, I'm not gonna really, touch on none of that stuff. We'll see how it plays out. I'm sure Biden will probably appeal it. He shouldn't, though. Maybe if he, it depends how he markets his appeal. If he appeals it in saying that, what she exploited, or whatever you want to call it, the sanitation term, in order to not allow this, not to, mask mandates never to be able to be put in place again. If he phrases it like that, is that maybe it gets to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court holds on to something that allows something like this to be put in place to protect people, because I think it was good at some point to protect people. but just not for so long. That he has to. I think he just needs to present it well, or he'll look like Uncle Joe or Grandpa Joe or whatever you want to call him. So very interesting, but it's overall it's time for the mask to not be required in every instance. It's time to. I think it is time to move forward with day to day life, with how people want to move about. So that's first quarter. Second quarter is it's just probably gonna be a little bit of rambling and various things about Twitter and Elon Musk. The offer is a lot. 43 million, which put it at 54 per share. It's a bid. He's only reported to raise between 10 and 15 billion, so he'll pile on. I think, in my opinion, for him off bat is that if he buys it, I think people run away from Twitter. I think it'll be maybe not like how OnlyFans was, but when they said OnlyFans was taking off certain content and other people were like, come jump on board, I think that could really happen. Uh, Nobody really wants to be on a site where it's a public town square per se. I mean, I guess Facebook is a little bit of that, but there is some moderation with what you can post in videos of that nature. But for the most part, people can spew whatever they want on their profile. At least from what I understand, I don't pay that much attention to Facebook to even know, honestly. But there needs to be some kind of, just somebody being able to get on, because it's funny now, because they're in the sports world. There's a Ball Sack Sports, and this person or whoever he is, I think it's like 24-year-old or something like that. I think I saw a report. Not even sure, but he posts fake stories, fake quotes from players and things of that nature. And I'm sure some people don't really like that, because they're thinking like that everything I see on Twitter that looks like it should be real. And if it's not, if that's a fake quote, and I've seen some players like, "Oh, I didn't say that." Like, well, we know it's ball sack. That's what it's called. Is you getting. But anyway, it's funny. But to have thousands of accounts like that, where you can't decipher what's real and what's fake on a place like Twitter, where there are a lot of journalists and a lot of things of that nature, it could get very, very sketchy. And I don't know if I would use Twitter nearly as much if that's what it turned into. I would be very, very cautious from the beginning if he bought it, and I would just really pay attention to how it's being used. I would probably use it as only a tool of what I use it for. One of my accounts for just to promote this, play some DEE. I would still more than likely use it for that. I think it would occupy a good space for that. But other than that, I probably would never like look at anything outside of like goofy stuff. I would never take it seriously at all, or it would just be too much to try to filter through if that's what it turns out to be. Now, he mentions Twitter board members who receive $3 million collectively will not be paid if he buys a company. Just all kind of wild stuff. Now, Twitter is trying to reject the bid, and I think overall, I don't really think it's going to happen. I just don't. I don't think. I think he's trying to feel it out to see what people. I do. I think he's a decent guy at reading the room and making choice decisions rather quickly. And he'll probably realize that it's not worth his time. But I think his message about, it being given a little more freedom of speech is understandable. But honestly, when there's weird, there's always gonna be some weird people on platforms, on social media in the world. But to just to be free and clear of it in a time where, like I just mentioned, that right and left and all it's just gonna create is just more combativeness, which for him, controversy is good because you know he can profit off of that. Especially if he channels it in the right direction. Twitter's board using the poison pill. White Knight, somebody else coming in. I don't know if I think Twitter should play. Twitter has hired Goldman Sachs and JPS Morgan as advisors. I think Twitter should pay close attention. But once again, if Elon makes a misstep and people don't like it, a new Twitter can be adopted rather quickly, where people can go move to a whole different platform and people will do it really, really quickly. You'll be surprised how fast you can tank a social media. People will jump off the bandwagon if you are not careful. Then he's got cryptic tweets and things of that nature. It says companies from Disney to Salesforce, Twitter buying, Twitter over the years, private equity firms, and I think the same goes for everything. If somebody comes in and buys it, I think people are going to be very, very skeptical. Elon could create a real interesting issue regardless of whether he takes it or somebody else takes it. People are going to be real skeptical of what the new Twitter under new management is. People like Twitter how it is. It works fairly well, and there's really no reason to change it up. If he wants somewhere else for people to talk at, he can create something. I mean, he can create something essentially through Tesla and make it more smart. People will follow. People will jump on it. People that's gonna, jump at his idea of taking over Twitter or go to wherever he wants. He's got a huge fandom, things of that nature. So I just think Twitter just, and they might be like that. I'm sure, you don't want to lose the company, but if it's bought or you have to do it, sometimes you do gotta, sometimes it is what it is, unfortunately. But I'll be interested to see how it all plays out, but I don't think nothing is going to happen. I think Twitter will stay, and maybe there'll be a new offer made next year or something, or something will happen. But there's a whole SEC situation involved with stocks and things of that nature if he purchased it too, but he'll just probably get a slap on the wrist if that happens. So really no big thing there. But Twitter is a pretty cool place now. Is blocking and kicking people off totally the right thing? Probably not. Some stuff should have some kind of validation tag on it or something. Maybe Twitter could put in place. Because, creating an account and saying something wild and getting a bunch of people to follow you and make it look real is pretty easy. And that a lot of that will happen if Elon Musk, or I think if anybody, purchase it and just lets the floodgates open. Halftime, I normally do sports in the first half, and then I kind of do it like that, but I flipped it this week on purpose. And plus, neither boxing or NFL draft is worthy of first quarter. First quarter is important. Whatever. So we're in third quarter now. Third quarter is all about heavyweight boxing. I think where boxing if boxing ever makes a comeback, this is where it has to happen in the heavyweight division. I've always said that. We got Wilder. We supposed to have Wilder. We have Whyte and Fury, or Fury and Whyte, however you want to call it. Boxing on Saturday for, actually, I don't even know whose belts. That's another thing that there's just, so talking about boxing is a whole convoluted, weird, old thing because it's a million belts. It feels like there's a million weight classes. And it's rather boring. It's rather boring. We just had a fight last week with Earl Spence and some guy, I forgot his name. Seemed to be a decent fight for a while, but it was boring. I was on my phone a lot while I was watching it, and the smaller guys is just a lot of pity pat moving around. I don't know. It's kind of been like that for a while. But this fight is heavyweight, so it's Fury. It'll be his last fight, and Dylan Whyte. They're fighting over in Wembley Stadium. They're both 33, so that's the other thing with the heavyweight division, or at least this fight in terms of like the future. Like these guys are relatively old for any sport of moving around, jumping around, physicality. 34 is, they're both turning 34. That's where you get up in age. So these are fighting for a championship. Fury's retiring. He's the top heavyweight. So he says he's done after this one. And then we don't even know what we're really going to get from Whyte. But, he had the puncher's chance in the heavyweight division. That's the best thing. That's the coolest thing about heavyweight. And anyway, you catch somebody with a punch, you should be able to, knock. But in the heavyweight division, that holds very, very true because you put a lot of weight behind these punches. So he has a puncher's chance. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder both immediately just became, shells of themselves, I suppose. They were supposed to be the new heavyweight division. They are not really even. I don't even know if Deontay's done or not. He probably is. You get whooped like he got whooped. Yeah, it's kind of hard to come back. And Anthony Joshua just lost, but he's getting a rematch, and the rematch of that will probably fight Whyte for probably all the vacated belts, or I don't know. That's the other thing too, is that how things work is just weird in boxing. Then how things are judged is a whole nother thing. Like what you're watching on TV, I almost watch boxing muted in most instances because I think the announcers see different things than other people see, and some announcers are rooting for one guy, and same with judges, and to keep this, it is what it is. But Fury's never lost. Whyte's lost twice. Fury's fought 32 times. Whyte's fought 30. Whyte does not have a draw. Fury does have a draw. Fury has 22 KOs, and Whyte has 19. Fury is 6'9", Whyte is 6'4", and it's a 65 to 78 inch reach, which will be huge. I do think Fury, especially if he knows this is his last fight, he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight to win. You don't want to, you got no losses. You want to keep no losses, and I think he'll just keep this guy off of him. He'll be popping him upside the head. He'll probably get him weak at some point. If he does get him really weak, he'll go for the knockout. Whyte may have something up his sleeve. We'll see. Like I say, it looks like he got some muscle behind his punches. I watched some highlights, watched a couple things, looked at his record and things of that nature. So it definitely could be a battle, but I think Fury probably wins it relatively easy. It'll be I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern time the fight starts. I think it's ESPN Plus or something like that. I'll miss it. I probably won't be home, but I'll watch the highlights or whatever. But I've always loved the heavyweight division of boxing, and I tried to cross it over to the middleweight, things of that nature when Roy Jones and Floyd and things of that nature. But I just never really got into it. I only started watching Floyd once he was approaching that record, really. I would watch it if you had fight party and things like that with friends, but I never really intentionally wanted to watch Floyd because he was little. He didn't knock anybody out, but he was super quick and entertaining to watch in some capacity, I could say. But I really watched once it got to the end to see. I always love to see people break records. I didn't want him to lose. I'm glad he didn't lose. I'm here for history. I'm a big history guy. When New England was going for the undefeated season, I wanted New England to win. So I'm all about, once you get close to history, I'll root for people to get there. So that's boxing. Tyson Fury, Dylan Whyte, Saturday. I think I looked at the odds last night. FanDuel has minus 600. Dylan Whyte plus 390 on FanDuel. Draw is 26-1, which is a fun bet, right? Fury by KO or TKO minus 135. Fury by the points plus 240. Whyte by points is plus 2,020-1. And Whyte by KO or TKO is plus 480. So some good bets there to put up for sure. So that's third quarter. That was boxing, and hopefully it makes a comeback. Probably won't. UFC is king. For fourth quarter is, I don't know if next week I'll get a video before the draft starts. So we're going to do a quick first round of the draft. I'll set myself as the Jags. I'll pick the first pick because I kind of almost positive who the Jags are picking. So I'm confident who the Jags are picking, so I'll pick the Jags, and then I'll pause it, make a guess, and then let it go and see how close I am. And then at some point, I will not know all of these players, and then I will just let the draft run. And yeah, that'll be it. So let me pull up a board really quickly. All right, so let's start it off with, we're on the clock. We're starting draft. We are taking Aiden Hutchinson. I watched him play a good enough amount. Big Ten. He's a beast. He's a beast. What's happening here is it's not drafting. Oh wait, on the clock. So I missed that. So I didn't see it go through. So the computer actually need to start this over because I need to adjust the settings. So we wanted to do this. I wanted to get it a little bit in the middle. Draft needs and less randomness. So now let's start this over. So start the draft. Hutchinson. And I don't know why it's taking forever, but I'm pretty sure the Lions don't take. I would take Stingley if I was the Lions. That's who I would take. They need a cornerback desperately. And we'll see if this worked smoothly. Okay. So they did the same thing twice. So Adam Gardner from Cincinnati. Gardner never allowed a touchdown in his career. I didn't watch. Well, I did. Well, I actually watched some Cincinnati games, and never jumped off the field to me. Now the Texans need so once again with Stingley being available, I'm either taking Stingley or Thibodeau. I would probably swing towards Thibodeau just with seeing what my man on the Cowboys, I forgot his name, the linebacker, what he did this year. That's who I would take. So let's see what PFF says they take. They take Stingley, which is, like I said, which could have been Stingley or Thibodeau. So now the Jets are on the clock. So mind you, I've seen some mock drafts. I've watched some of these players in some capacity, but I don't know. I think the draft is going to be so up in the air that I don't think a lot of people can go totally wrong because mostly non-skill positions going first. So you just hope you get the player that fits with your team, your coaching staff, and just that right character type of guy. So now, once again, if I'm the Jets, I'm going Thibodeau. I'm sticking to what I would go with, and that's who they took. I think the Jets will be super happy if he falls in their lap. Giants is going offensive lineman, and I would guess it would be Charles Cross. But I would probably be more keen towards taking. See, Charles Cross at Mississippi State. I don't know where he's from, but where he's from will have a lot to do with it because it's cold in New York. So the Giants I would probably go with the NC State guy. Akeem Ikwanu is probably who I will go with because he's NC State more. No, yep. So that's who this shows up as. That's what I would take personally if I was the Giants. I would try to get a guy that's familiar with cold weather. I'm just a firm believer in doing that for sure. Now the Panthers should definitely go off the line. So it's going to be Cross or Neal from Alabama. I would go with Evan Neal if I was the Panthers right here. They go with Charles Cross, which makes sense too. We got the Giants back on again. If I were the Giants, I would go and get Neal. I would get Neal Kyle Hamilton is good. Kyle Hamilton is good. And if they got Kyle Hamilton for Notre Dame, or where I would go one of these edge rushers, Travion Walker or George Karlaftis is probably who I would take. I would probably get Trayvon Walker if I was the Giants. I would get Trayvon Walker from Georgia if I were the Giants on this pick. They went Evan Neal, so they would. I was saying that just load up on the line, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go to there because now you really basically need to start both of those guys. I personally think Atlanta needs everything, and I would absolutely get Kyle Hamilton here. They go Trayvon Walker is who I would have took the last pick. Seattle should go Trent McDuffie right here. Cornerback from Washington. They went Kyle Hamilton. The Jets should come back with receiver and probably get Jamison Williams. I'm a little concerned about that ACL injury. So I wouldn't get Jamison Williams. I would go Drake London from USC. They went Jamison. Washington should then grab a lineman. They need that center from Iowa. That's what I would get. I would get Tyler Limbaum from Iowa. They get Trent McDuffie there. Wouldn't be totally mad at that. But I'm sure the Vikings would have loved to have Trent McDuffie next. So the Vikings would then go Tyler Limbaum, I would imagine, right? The center from Iowa. They would get a rusher. Can't go totally wrong with the edge rusher. Every position. So if I would go Drake London if I was the Texans. Read a wide receiver. Or they go Garrett Wilson. I wouldn't be mad at that at one bit. Drake London, Garrett, yeah, either or. All right, so Ravens always pick well. We're probably going Jordan Davis from Georgia, or we're going Devontae Watt from Georgia. One or the other. One of the Georgia guys. They go Drake London. Another wide receiver. They do need wide receivers. Oh. The Eagles get Devin Lloyd from Utah. There it is. Hit that baby. And then Drake London went, right? I'm sure the Saints would have loved Drake London or Garrett Wilson. So they'll go Chris Olave. Ooh, Malik Willis. I'm not picking either none of those quarterbacks in the first round. I'm not picking none of those quarterbacks in the first round. All right, let's see what we got here. Chargers would go. I would D up more and get Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. Get the corner. Go Jordan Davis. He's a beast. But I would definitely go defense. That's a good pick. Who'd the Eagles just take? Lloyd, linebacker. So now they would go Booth Jr. Clemson. No, another linebacker. Now Bernard Rahman from Central Michigan. Tackle. Chris Olave. I said that before. So they got him. And then maybe these guys get, if what's the name goes that early, then I'm guessing whichever that Pittsburgh guy's name is from Pittsburgh. I mean, defense, yeah. Defensive interior lineman. That's Pittsburgh's bread and butter. Not really tripping on that. They go Andre Booth Jr. from Clemson. There it is. The Packers go wide receiver, and they might not, since all of the good ones have been taken. So maybe they get Zion Johnson from Boston College. He's a guard. Yeah, they got a center. They go center. And then they go Zion Johnson from Boston College. Cardinals. There it is. All right. Cowboys, I would say, gets Tyler Smith from Tulsa. Tackle. Jermaine Johnson. Oh yeah, he's a baller. Travis Jones from UConn goes to the Buffalo Bills. Oh yeah, Rodman. That's right. Oh yeah, I went past him. He still hadn't gotten taken. That would have been the pick. Yeah, that'd be a huge pick if he falls to them. Titans do need a wide receiver, and they will probably go Scott Moore from Western Michigan here. Yep. Bucks. Bucks go Travis Jones from UConn. They go Tyler Smith from Tulsa, which can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that at all. Zion Johnson, Tyler Smith. All right. What we got? Who we on the clock? Oh, they need wide receiver. They gotta go wide receiver. Jordan Pickens. Ooh. Jordan Pickens? Did they go Jordan Pickens here? Nope. Trevor Penning. Then they go Jordan Pickens. Nope. Wouldn't be mad if they get that at that either. Oh, and then Jordan Pickens. Nope, they don't go receiver. They did not have them going receiver. So the Bengals need a lineman desperately. I don't totally see who's left here. Tyler Smith, Zion's gone. Northern Iowa, Trevor Penning, he already went. That's kind of sucks for the Bengals if all those linemen are wiped clean. The next best lineman I see is Kenyon Green, but he's a guard. And okay, so they go Daxton Hill. Yeah, if you don't have that you can always wait. They can load up on. They need this. They can get just a bunch of them later on. But if the good one's not here, you get the best available. And then the Lions. The Lions. Who the Lions pick earlier? Or they got a corner already. So I'm going I'm going defense again, and I'm probably getting this edge rusher from Penn State. Arnold Ebekete. That's who I would get. I would get a rusher. Full results. I want to see that last pick. Kenny Pickett. So 2 quarterbacks went, and my sample one. Some of these are good, and I think if this played off for most teams, they would totally be fine with this. So it's just what matches for your team and things of that nature. So NFL draft should be good. Play some D is always good, and I was 49 in the house. As always, thank you for watching. If you don't mind, smash the like button. Drop a comment. Let me know which team you would like which player you would like your team to draft. I'm not even going to ask anybody about boxing. That was just I'm intrigued by the fight. But with Fury retiring, which I just found out he's retiring last night, that it was kind of like whatever. But I want to talk about it anyway. Talked about Twitter, and I talked about the mask situation. I'm sure most people are happy about that. So thanks for watching. It'll be another banger next week as I get the topics rolling. Possibly some overtime. Look out for them shorts. Look out for them. That's them quick screens. Look out for them quarter coverages dropping on the channel. And as always, be cool, be safe, be great. And until the next one, Holla.